Hello, 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 and welcome to the Heart, Mind, and Voice Show. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
Happy
Hello,
Saturday.
hello.
It's definitely a happy Saturday, or at least it was. It was so pretty today. The weather was beautiful here in Dallas. I don't know where everybody is at, but it was definitely nice here compared to what we're supposed to be getting next week. Right? Serious K? It's
Yes.
supposed to
Oh,
be bad
girl.
weather.
I'm so tired of this rain.
If I tell you, now, usually here in Dallas in May, it is pre desert. You don't know what that is, you just come on down here and find out. It's pre desert. Burning.
Yeah.
We're so happy to be here tonight for our fans. Hello, HMB fans. Woo!
Hi, Nikki.
Hey,
Good to be back.
Nikki!
hey,
And everyone
Nikki.
that's tuned in tonight. It's your girl Shalonda, aka Happy Bill. We have Miss Kim, aka Serious K,
Hey,
and
everybody.
known as Queen A.
Hi.
We have a wonderful show lined up tonight. If I tell you, we have a little bit of juiciness. The hottest topic that's known for 2021 right now. We have that, and then we have what all curious minds wants to know. So, and maybe maybe a little educating on this show tonight. So definitely, tune in with all ears clean and open to hear and receive if you can. Now, my personal advice for what's going to take place tonight, as far as the information that's going to be provided, I probably, when we get to that topic, I'll let you know. So I'll probably be like, you can kind of do like that because sometimes if you don't know, that's kind of good too, especially with certain information.
Oh, yes.
If you don't know, it's good because you won't know. But when you become aware of it,
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole new situation. It's a whole new situation.
Yeah.
And I do mean situation. So glad to be here tonight, girls. We're going to jump right off into the show. But everyone, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube page. If you are tuning in, watching us on Facebook, be sure to like and share. We still have our prize giveaway that will be announced at the end of the show. We have a cute little tricky surprise for you as long as our Queen A does not give it away. Oh, so ladies,
You know
let's get
what?
right into it tonight. All right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
starting out with the topic, honey, the hottest topic that's no, I'm just not gonna say 2021, but since the beginning for us women. We're talking breaking girl codes, just backstabber, maybe some jealousy. I don't know, just every negative thing you can think of. The Portia story. Oh my God. Now, let it be known. Miss Portia said that she and Phylon were not friends. They were just castmates, you know. And so they were on the same reality show together. But if you guys saw some of the clips on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, how Portia was actually at Phylon's house, none friend, in her pool, none friend, messing with her, what do they call it, little smoke hookah? Whatever it's called. I call
Yeah.
it messing with that, smoking or whatever. But I'm not going, to know that this could possibly happen, because think in hindsight now, had you known that if you've had a certain female at your house, but you're aware that she could possibly, if you and your husband were to divorce, she would definitely get with him. Would you even have that person in your home? Come on, let me hear. Serious K, Queen,
No.
help me out. Would you even have that type of woman in your home, knowing that if something were to happen to you and your husband, that she would pick him up and keep it moving? Serious K, what do you think?
Oh Lord. Oh Lord, definitely not. But I didn't see Portia going that way. I didn't see her being that type of person. So it was a shock for me. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, because I hadn't watched The Housewives in a very long time. So when I saw the
right.
story, I was like, wait a minute. So they on the same show together, and I wasn't sure if they were friends or not. She said they weren't. They didn't run in the same circle. So but you at my house, and so you kind of slide behind my man. You know, I
Yes.
don't know about y'all, but I'm around my friends and their man. I can't really think if he got a mole on his face, a pimple, or what. I try not to look to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yes.
I'm just not. That's just not me.
You
I
know,
can't go behind my friends. I can't go behind my sister.
yes, none of that.
Mm-mm.
None of
No.
that. The story is
Yeah.
now he had posted a post of him and his wife about how much he loved her, and oh, they are culturally entwined and all of this crap. Now it's crap, and how they love each other intensely. And of course, they're not perfect. They have issues like everybody else, but they're together. This was in January. I can't recall the dates. I don't want to give out any false dates. People wait on you to say something false.
Right.
Yeah.
But there were dates in January. Now, granted, they filed for divorce in January. Now, let's be clear that filing is saying that their divorce is not it's not official. It's not done yet. So they are still, trying to settle, I guess, financial situations or whatever. Divorce, can be very complicated. We all know that. But they can be very complicated. And so they're still in court trying to finalize. So their divorce is not finalized as of yet. So Portia did say, and I'm sure you guys saw the video, that their divorce is final, and that only 30 days. It only took 30 days for them to meet, fall in love, and be engaged. I guess.
Wow.
And y'all.
I think it happened at the time of the setting when she went to her house. I think something kind of, some spark kind of happened at that time, and they stayed in contact. Now, granted, were they really friends? Possibly no. But it's all about entertainment. So they could have been there just for the casting, to be on the set and so forth. So they probably kind of just engage a little bit more there. But all in all, it's still wrong, because once you enter into a woman's household and you leave that house and end up with her ex-husband, her husband, whatever, you were still there entertaining in the pool, conversating, mixing, mingling, and everything. And then you're going to go and turn around and get involved with her husband. That's just cold.
Wow. Yeah, that's low down.
It's really low down. And the thing is that, first of all, Portia is a mother. She's a mother to a beautiful little girl. And to say you've met someone within 30 days and fell in love with them, and now you're going to be co-parenting. And for the father, that's a whole nother situation for the little girl's father to be okay with, his daughter's mother meeting a man in 30 days and getting engaged and having this man around their little girl. Like, what do you know about a person within 30 days? Now, granted, I know that that can happen. Sparks can fly. And you can truly fall in love with someone within a short time span. However, when there's little ones that's involved, you got to hold those feelings a little bit and learn about them. Because although they may float your boat, you don't know if they just float your boat and grown folks' boats and not anything else. You don't know their history. You really just don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, go ahead.
I want to say Nikki Green, she said she'd been watching that man. So yeah, she must have been watching him for some time, definitely.
Yeah.
But I was going to say with Portia, she definitely is the type of woman that is like, not saying she need a man, but she's looking for love. Like you can tell, like just watching her on the show, she's definitely searching for love. Now, you know me, like I love astrology, right? So just knowing her chart a little bit.
Let me say this. So I beg to differ on that, but we're gonna get to astrology. But I beg to differ on. Yeah, of course she wants love, but in this situation, because you do know that she has a show. She worked out a deal with Bravo, and she has a little 3-series show coming out, 3-episode show or whatever.
Right.
A pilot that's coming out with this guy. So you know how they sparked up trouble in the beginning, so that everybody can tune in and see exactly how it goes down with him and her. In this short time frame. So I would say she's more love. She's a woman, of course, and she's always in and out. Some man, or even I've heard women, but she's always in and out. And so my thing is, she's definitely hungry for that paycheck. definitely to do
Yes,
something like this. Definitely, it's like I need a storyline, and for them being in that reality show, they got to keep the drama going to keep
absolutely. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
so. If
Well,
anyone
you
want
know,
to come on, because I am in the film industry, so come on, you don't know that though. But
well, you know, still in all, I can definitely tell she's a woman that loves love. Like I can tell that she desires to be, you know, and again, studying her chart, and just knowing, you know, who she is. She's a Cancer, whatever. You know, she is
Oh,
definitely someone who loves love and who desires to be loved. Now, granted, again, she's all about the dollar and the money. So, yeah, she could be wanting to, you know, create a storyline just to get that fame and fortune, you know, so she can kind of come up. So I definitely agree
yeah.
with that part of it. But
she's,
yeah,
you know, for her to be that naive, she would have to be much younger. You know what I'm saying? Like in her 20s,
no,
definitely
baby,
20s.
no. People
Yeah.
in their 50s and 60s
I
and
was
But
gonna
naive.
say,
but
yeah.
for love, it's not, that's desperate. It's the difference between being desperate and then love. Because you can be desperate and not really understand. When you're desperate, you don't even love yourself. So
Mhm.
she want to be loved. Like I said, most human beings, especially women, they want to be loved. But it definitely has a lot to do on her end, because especially, you know, with love come peace. And you know, there's no peace in this. And no man, as Sirius K, as you said, no man is worth your peace. Not one joker is worth your peace. Nobody, woman, man, or anything is worth your peace. And so this has disturbed her peace. It really hasn't, because her peace right now is that greenback. So she's getting that greenback. She doesn't care about and you know, being the morals. Where's more? What is morals? What is value? But if you're in
Yeah.
your, I think if you were younger, in your younger stage, not really understanding life, not really knowing, karma hadn't beat you upside the head yet. Hello,
Mhm.
you don't really understand. So, you know, you have to live life in order to understand life,
Right,
learn how life circles back. It will come
right.
back. And Lord help when you do something in your 40s, 50s, or whatever, and then it's coming back and you're 60 years old. So she definitely, I can see someone in their 20s or 30s doing this. Doesn't make it right, but you definitely understand a lot more.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know,
She
Nikki
I was
said they
thinking,
will ruin their reputation for $1. Sandrine selling their whole soul for likes and money.
Yes.
Ain't that right?
yeah, I was kind of thinking about what Queen A was saying, you know, I think she does want love, and of course, you know, we already know she's in the what you call the reality shows, and you know they got to keep a storyline going. Because I was thinking about her past, like with her first husband, like how bad and how
Right.
wrong he did her.
Mhm.
So you know, maybe she is looking for love, but at the same time, she gonna get that dollar. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's
So
the
I don't
that's
know.
Well, look, messing with that guy Dennis, I don't know what the hell she was thinking about there, but
for real.
so I'm like, Lord.
Well, let's go ahead and let's get that Portia mess. That's a mess. And the only thing that I have to say about that, as far as giving a message to the HMB fans, you know, when you're young, yeah, there are a lot of excuses because you really just don't understand life yet, but you live and you grow. And not that does not give you permission to do wrong, but wrong things may happen on
Right.
your part, you know. But just think about what you do to, and especially if you know if you're working with someone, or please guard your household, guard your mate. I mean, these women are very desperate. There are no morals in society now. I don't know of any. You can do whatever. You can say whatever. Everything is okay, because if you come against it, you are judging, and you know you are not right. And we could do, I mean, you can do whatever you want. I don't understand why drugs aren't legal. I'm just saying, I didn't say it should be. I just said because you do everything else. So I don't understand. Not that I'm for it or anything, but everything else goes. Oh, but you got a stipulation you got on certain things. Please. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to what we love the most. I wish we had that Twilight music. We're going to talk about a topic, you guys, that a lot of us do not. And let me put this disclaimer. Trust me. Cover your ears if you don't want to be held accountable or want to know really, because there are repercussions. I'm just letting you know. Now watch it. They're going to be all tuned in. Like, I want to know. However, this subject here, it has its good and its bad. I wouldn't say for me, I guess experiencing it personally, I have yet to see where it did not work or it did not come to pass. But there are some situations that's coming up for me in my life in the midst of this time frame that I just want to see. Then I'm gonna give y'all an update. So this is Mercury retrograde part 1, because I'm gonna give you an update when it happens. I'm gonna give you an update. So if it goes the way that Mercury say, no, 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 you better not do this, you better not do that, but then I do this and it happens, I'm gonna let y'all know that you can do what you want. But go ahead, Queen A, please educate us. Whoa.
This is very funny, right? This is very interesting because Happy Bill, she was so upset with me when I first told her about it. And she's like, you know what? I wish I never knew. I wish I wasn't aware of it. I mean, she was done. She was so upset.
Yes.
But now she's very careful with what she does. And I remember she saying to me, you know what? I'm just gonna go with what God say. Honey, this is all what God is saying. And she's like, I got it. I got this. I'm gonna do. And she went ahead and tried to do certain things. She realized, she's like, you know what? I give in. I give up.
Yes,
So
Lord.
let me give you a quick, I'm not going to get deep into it, but I'm giving you a quick synopsis of what Mercury retrograde is. So Mercury retrograde, it happens typically quarterly every single year. Now, most people are not aware of it because we've been going on with life and so forth. But Mercury retrograde, it happens when the planets are going, in a sense of saying, is traveling backwards, right? So when Mercury is retrograde right now this year, it's very interesting because Mercury retrograded in all the air signs this year. So when it's in the air signs represent thoughts, it represents communication, it represents how we think, our mental, and all of that state. So it's very interesting that this year that is moving in all the air signs. So the air signs will be affected, but more so the planets the signs, which is Gemini, as well as Virgo. Unfortunately, me, Kim, you're rising Gemini. So we will be affected somewhat. We will feel it the most probably. So let me say this: when Mercury retrograde happens, it's best that you do not sign contracts. If you travel, just make sure that you ahead of time. Don't be rushing out the last minute because plans can cancel or change or whatever. Make sure you just have everything together when you're traveling, like your passport, whatever it is. Make sure you have everything to prevent certain things because Mercury represents travel, communication, internet, as well as contracts. Do not sign contracts. I'll tell you all the don'ts. Do not sign contracts. If you must travel, go ahead and travel, but make sure you got everything together. Do not start anything new relationships, new jobs. If you have to, go ahead and do so, but just keep in mind that if you do so, things can change because Mercury retrograde tend to distort, it hides information. It hides important information that you need to know. I remember I started this job when I first came down to Atlanta and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna worry about retrograde. I'm just gonna jump into it. And I remember this woman saying to me, she was like, don't do it. You can kind of push it off 2 weeks later. I'm like, no, I got this. I can do it. Thinking like, you know what? God is in control. This. Started the job. It didn't last. I ended up leaving because it was not what I thought it was. What they promised did not happen. So I went ahead and signed contracts, paperwork, and everything for the job. It didn't turn out what I thought it would turn out to be. And you remember Happy Bill? I hated it. Like I just,
yes.
And I did not stay long at all. So Mercury retrograde, what's going to happen is going to start May 29th to June 22nd. In that time frame, it's important that you review things. You rethink things. It's because it's always about because it's going backwards. So it's like you redo, review, replan. Whatever it is that you got to, just kind of go back and revise. You want to go ahead and do that. Don't start new projects, but continue and kind of finish building on the project. But what's going to happen is once you finish, you may need to go back and kind of review it for any, things that you miss or things that you forgot about. Also, exes from the past tend to show back up. So you'll find that you may be thinking about someone from your past, or you may want to contacting. You may feel strongly about contacting that person. So exes from the past doesn't mean it's meant to rekindle it. Sometimes it is, but sometimes is a chance to close that chapter, to close that door, or either to redo it or to restart that relationship and rebuild anew. So it's important to kind of, kind of be wise and choose it. But be careful, y'all. Be careful that with your emotions, because in the air sign again represents the mental, it represents thoughts. So be mindful of your mental state. I know a lot of times, especially because we're in a pre-shadow of it, some of you may be feeling cloudy or confused or feeling all sorts of feelings. What's going on is that Mercury retrograde is entering into a period where it's going direct. So you want to make sure that your mental state is on the up and up. Do what you need to do. Get a therapist, talk to a friend, talk to a minister, whoever you got to talk to. Just make sure that you're in the right mental state, because it can cause some confusion. It also can cause a little bit of, kind of feeling down and out. So be mindful of that. So it's a lot of information I would love to give, but I'm not going to get too much into it. I just want to give you that quick rundown of what's going on in Mercury retrograde. By the way, y'all, did y'all know, because just recently, Happy Bill and Series K, we were just talking about this. So they had this whole thing where the system was hacked, right? The internet, and they hacked into a major fuel company. So gas prices went up. This is all what can occur during Mercury retrograde. So it will be things where they, again, hack into people's systems, something where internet may go down, your phone may not be working, your internet, your cable, whatever it is may not be working, and you're getting frustrated and you're mad, wondering what the hell is going on. It is Mercury retrograde, y'all. It's not a bad thing. What Mercury retrograde does, it comes to reveal what's not working. So if you feel during Mercury retrograde you're having a lot of challenges, it's because that's the area of your life that you need to work on and improve. So Mercury retrograde comes to bring hidden things that's not in alignment, things that's not working, so you can improve it. So although sometimes it seems bad, it seems like a mess, it seems like a hot mess, but it's only meant to reveal those things that's hidden so you can work on it, so you can improve it. So especially if you feel like your communication is off, guess why? Because you got to work in that area of your life. So there it is, y'all. Mercury retrograde. You was aware. That's it.
Oh my God, this video is going to thousands, and when they become aware. Now, granted, there are a lot of people that are already aware, but there's just as many people that are not aware. And I will say, when I was not aware of Mercury retrograde, I may have been going through things, but you're just thinking it's a life. It's like, just something that's happening. But I'm telling you, once you become aware of it, and even if you forget, because you have heard it, it goes into your subconscious and it will come up. It will come up. And I'm telling you, honey, I have the Lord on my side, and the Lord got this.
Well, when Queen A first brought it up months ago, when I heard her talking about it months ago, you guys were talking about it months ago, and I looked it up and I had been researching it, and I put it at the back of my mind way back then. I was like, you know what?
Yep.
I'm going on my trip.
I did the same thing. Oh, whatever.
Like, I'm going on my trip. Listen, I'm like, Mercury, you just come on and move on forward. Go the other way.
Another thing, right? So you can travel, but what happened when you travel? It may be delayed, or it may be delayed, or you may tend to forget something, or just whatever. So it doesn't mean you can't do. I wouldn't tell a person, don't stop your life. Do what you must. Continue doing what you must, but you just got to be aware of the preliminaries and the precaution of what to take. So if you're traveling, make sure you way ahead of the time. So because traffic could be delayed. Matter of fact, I was traveling. I was going to Florida during Mercury retrograde, and I remember it was an accident. It was something going on, and especially Atlanta traffic is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And I was very close to the airport, and it took me over an hour. I was late for my plane, and I had to end up flying out the next day. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh my God. And I remember it was Mercury retrograde. So, So I would say don't stop if because sometimes it could be a blessing in disguise, but you just got to just beware of it and just know what can happen during this time frame. So just be on time and just make sure you got your paperwork together. The shots, like they say, the shots, who knows? But just it's funny because my son, when I told him about it, he was like, "Oh, I don't believe in that." My son is like, he know more than I do now. Like he was like, "Mom, Mercury retrograde coming. I'm not doing nothing."
I'm with the sun. Listen,
I'm telling you guys, I was the same. Queen A can tell you. I think I probably cursed her out. I was the same way. I was like, girl, please, are you crazy? I'm not going to sit here. I mean, just going in about it. And you're right. Queen A is right. You can't stop your life. I mean, we're talking, what is this, 21 days? Is it 21, 27? How many days is it?
It's about 21, yeah. About 21.
You can't say, I'm going to sit in the house for 20. You can't stop your life. We understand that. What we're saying is do not start anything new. Just continue to carry out. I have something that I want to launch around that time. I'm not going to launch it around that time. Will it affect money? No, I don't think so. It may, but hey, there's plenty of time where I can make up for it. But I'm not going to risk the chance when I'm aware of what could possibly go wrong. So I'll just, I'm okay. Patience is virtue. So I'm okay. I'll just wait and then I'll launch it then. Now, there is something that I cannot put on hold because someone else is involved. So I cannot put it on hold. I have to go according to what has been planned. However, it is right in the very heart of it, or definitely at the very beginning. And at the very beginning, it's a little, because we're in the pre-phase of it now. So in the beginning, it's like, like poking it. It poked, but I will say I have traveled during Mercury retrograde, and you just can't get past the fact that something will happen. We just don't know what will happen. Usually it's not like bad, but it will cause a little discomfort. That's just the unfortunate part of it. That's just retrograde.
So I used to work for a tech company. Well, I still work for a tech company, but one of my old jobs was a tech company, and their system was horrible. So every time during Mercury retrograde, like their whole system was shut down. And I would try to tell them, like, look, this system is not working. That's why it keeps shutting down. So the last Mercury retrograde, the last one with that job, working at the job, they had someone who hacked their system. And they got access to people, information in Ireland, in England, because they had offices all over. So they hacked, it was a major thing, and they had to shut down for a few days. So we was at work just pretty much not doing much because their whole system was hacked. So that's what Mercury retrograde is. It's about just finding out those areas that needs to be reworked. And and it's safe to answer, if you plan on launch, right? But you already had it in the works. Go ahead and launch it. Like, don't delay it. Go ahead and launch it. It just may need to be reworked. So remember, Mercury is all about information. It's all about travel information. So information may be cloudy. The way you see it, like somebody can be communicating something to you, and you may understand it differently. So somebody may say, hey, how you doing? Like, what you mean how I'm doing? So it's just the information is coming through in a distorted way, and that's what Mercury retrograde does. It's kind of hide information, distort information. So sometimes the way you receive things is gonna come in a distorted way. So you just want to be careful of that. You signing contracts, or even you launching a website. So, a customer may review your website and may say, you know what, I don't understand what they mean by this. So you have to go and revise the whole content and rework your whole. So again, don't stop your life. It's just to be aware and just dot every I, cross every T, and make sure that you're on the up and up when you're launching something new or doing something new. But in the most part, do not do anything new. Do not start any new relationships, new contracts. If you got to move, don't do it during Mercury retrograde. But if you have to, then understand that it may be short term.
Yeah. No. Listen, people. I'm telling you now, it ain't no May to it. I don't know why she's trying to make it, trying to smooth it on over. It it will be short term. Now, I'm not saying that you'll lose your job. You may get another, you may move to another area. I'm not going to say promotion, no, but you may move to another area. Or you may not like it and it just did not work out for you. You know, moving in that time frame, you won't stay there in the time that you plan to stay.
Yes.
So that's definitely true. I've had probably every experience that she's mentioning.
Oh yeah, and she was upset with me. She's like, you know what? And then she don't want to do nothing during. I'm like, okay, Shonda, you can do this though. No, I'm just gonna wait. Nikki Green, it is over. It usually lasts 3 weeks, so it starts May 29th to June 22nd.
Yeah.
So I want to say this for those religious people, it is in the Bible. Okay. So is some things is kind of hidden in the Bible. You understand the parables and so forth, but
it's all
but yes. So in the Bible, when the story of Daniel, when the angels, it was 21 days, the angel could not get to him. And it was all, and he prayed and he fasted, but what was going on? It was Mercury retrograde. So that's why in 21 days, so that's why sometimes like things delayed. So in that Bible, if you read more into it and kind of study it in the story of Daniel, again, he was praying, he was fasting, he couldn't understand why it was taking so long. And the angel said, I was trying to get to you, but he could not because it was delayed due to Mercury retrograde. So that's what it is. Mercury retrograde is all about delay, so you can revise, replan, redo, and just kind of make sure that you're doing, you kind of move it in the right area.
Yeah.
And so I love this stuff, so I can go on it forever. I'm not going to go too much into it. But another thing, if I love the study that the degrees of astrology. So Gemini, I think is in Mercury retrograde is in Gemini, I believe in 24 degrees. So degrees describe how potent it will be. So I'm not gonna get into that, y'all. Not today, because that's gonna
give us just a little snippet, just a little bit. Okay, just a little. We want to know, man, serious. Can we like? Okay, what you mean by that?
So typically, the high degree, sometimes you got to work on it. Sometimes I'm not because there's a lot to go into, the degrees, but because it's in a certain degree, it's going to be a little bit more potent, y'all. So again, we got to find stuff like something with the internet. Make sure you secure with the internet. You secure with sign on to banking information, because again, we were only in the pre-shadows, y'all, and we saw that somebody hacked a major fuel company that affected gas all over the world. So that's telling you just a sample of what we get ready to go into. So just be mindful, of your communication, be mindful of travel, be mindful of signing any new contracts, be mindful when you're communicating to friends, to loved ones, to your job, and just make sure you're very clear in your communication.
Yeah. And like I said, I am a little low key, a little bitter about this retrograde stuff. Okay, I'm low key bitter about it. And I understand you see the good and the bad in retrograde. Now, and I will say that my little one has a camping trip that's scheduled right in the heart of retrograde. And if it wasn't set up the way it was set up, with his little best friend, I just don't know. And I'm like low key hoping that they reschedule it. I really am. Like, just call me. Let me know something. I want to call them and make up something. You do know that make up something. I wouldn't say anything about retrograde, but I'll make up a real good story, to at least put it in there, plant it in their little spirits. But anyway, so that's your education on retrograde. I know Mercury retrograde. Trust me, I know there's some feelings out there right now, like, oh man. But I told y'all, I put the disclaimer out there. You might not want to know. You might just want to stay in the unknown, because when you're not aware of something, you're not aware of how it affects you, and so you're just going along. But once you become aware, you will notice everything. And I think that's the hard part, because trust me, communication is huge during Mercury retrograde. You will get into it with friends, family. You don't even understand why the disconnect or why the issues are there. But so just so you know, get ready. But But it'll be okay. It's only 21 days. We can handle it. We can handle it. It's life, so we'll be just fine. So let's move on to our next subject.
Can you hear? Can you
Queen A, look like you're having some. We can hear you, but look like we can hear you. We can see you. Can you hear and see us?
seem to retrograde, and look what happens.
Oh
She's
Lord.
working on herself, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing else, y'all. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes.
Oh my! Can you imagine all of these shows that are on, podcasts, YouTube, all these, and so, but a lot of stuff do happen. I think the last retrograde, if I'm not mistaken, I think YouTube went down. I thought for like the morning or something, because it was like I think it was back in February. It was doing back in February, right? But I am an Aquarius. But let's move on to the next subject. Queen A, are you good?
Yeah, I may have to sign out and come back on, but for now, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I want our HMB fans, we'll let you know. Remember, I said this is going to be part 2. So this is part 1. We will have part 2 on Mercury retrograde because something big is going down for me right in the very beginning stages. So I'm going to let y'all know. I will update you. I think it's that same week, Series K, that you have your fun Jamaica trip. So see, y'all, we got things already planned. But it's part of life. So we just got to go along with the plan. But we're going to talk about, let's go a little more deeper into our topics tonight. We're going to talk about children's social and emotional development. And this is near and dear to my heart for me personally. Although the article mentioned something a little different from why it's near and dear to my heart, but even what they mentioned pertaining to a child's, social and emotional development. As we know, it is crucial. It is pertinent, like beyond serious for, a child to be in an environment that it will cultivate their social and emotional development, because they do not know. They don't know. They do not know how to. I've seen it to where if, in certain environments, if it's not a healthy, whole environment, that they can become socially awkward. I've seen this firsthand. Emotions, if parents are going back and forth, seeing this firsthand, or if something happens, it affects the child from the beginning until adulthood. Now, I believe the article, and Queen Anne, I'm gonna let you get into this because this is one of your special articles. But I believe that they were saying that testing determines, by them having state testing, determines their future in so many words. And that's a lie. Let me tell you how well I did on those state testing, because I was green when it came to math. And, that had absolutely nothing to do with my social and emotional development. That part had nothing to do, but it had everything to do with the environment that a child is raised in. And I'm talking about, be it a stable home, parents are stable. If it's just a single mom, where she's stable. If it's just a single dad, where he's stable and not jumping from home to home, or not having enough money to take care of that. All of that plays an integral part in a child's development. So, Queen Anne, I want you to tell me, what was some of the key things that were highlighted in the article, and where you felt like, okay, this is contradictory to what the real deal is.
So Biden wants to launch this law that not necessarily only deals with test scores, but now they want to get into the whole social and emotional scores. So I know, working with the Atlanta court system for children in foster care, they have a program it's called the ACEs test.
Mm-hmm.
So what that determines is a child, like based on the home that a child comes from, what would be the likelihood that they will fail as an adult? Either they'll be in jail, or they won't make it as an adult, or, so these test scores is really to open up the prison systems to see how well, not how well, but will a child make it, or will they end up in the prison system? And they do calculations and statistics based on that. And they actually build prison systems based on test scores from a child. So Biden, what this new law that they want to come up with is to test children emotional and social skills, and not just, and they want to start from the time that they are in pre-K. Now, I'm going to say this because this is very, very important. This is something that is dear to my heart, and I love it because just my background as a child and what I've been through. I had a therapist in school because I was back and forth, with different family members and so forth, and I didn't grow up in a stable living environment. So that test score determined that I was going to be someone who was going to be maybe socially awkward, maybe on the streets, or maybe having, like just stupid or whatever. So I think you have to test, if you test 7, I think 6 or 7 out of 10, then most likely you're going to be a failure as an adult. My test scores were 9. I only had one more before I'm considered crazy. So they, what, keep it up, happy Bill, keep it up. But it goes to show because they ask you questions like, were one of your parents abusive? Check. Were they on drugs or alcohol? Check. Were you abused? Check. So I had all these things. I had 9 out of 10, which shows that I was someone who was meant to fail. But that's not necessarily true because that's what has driven me to become, want to become successful, becoming successful. Those are the same things that have drove me to, kind of just building myself up in the world and knowing how to persevere to come out of those situations. So they judge based on how a child scores on his or her test. So now it's not only with the test scores in terms of mathematics, English, and so forth, but now it's going to be like this ACEs test or this new term they're going to come up with. Now, I do kind of agree somewhat because what Biden wants to, what his administration wants to do is take away the mathematical, the English, all of that. Maybe kind of take away when a child is in pre-K and kindergarten and focus more on the emotional and social skills. Now, is good and bad because when you focus on the emotional and social, it can kind of help the child develop from an early age. They know what to focus on to kind of get that child on the right track. Now, if they were just doing math and science and all of that, it's kind of hard to determine certain things. It will help on the educational part, but it may not help in the social and emotional part. So his administration want to come up with this plan to help in that area. However, sometimes more so statistics will show that the child will go in this direction, but it's not always the case. But if they come with something like that, it has to be some type of program to help a child develop if they are in an emotional and social state, if they test low in an emotional and social state. So it has to definitely be something in place where it's going to help them to recover from those traumas and childhood traumas that they are experiencing and going through.
Exactly. Oh my God. Serious K,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I kind of dove deep into this topic and did a little bit more research on it. And the idea came from some social psychologists, and I think it was like in the 90s. These social
Yes.
psychologists, they took these kids from
Mhm.
um, a federal, like a Head Start program. They took
Yeah.
some kids, they did a lottery system, and they took some kids out of that program and put them into a better pre-K
Yeah.
program, which where they had, better education, a better environment, and all of that. Now, these kids didn't necessarily test better than the kids that were left in the Head Start program. It's just that they were picked out of this lottery system. So when they put them in the better program, of course, the kids' overall well-being, they did better as far as emotional and socially and all that because of their environment. Because we know, socially, people or their behavior is shaped by the people around them and their environment. Just say like if me and you we're going on a bike ride. If I'm riding a bike by myself, I'm just gonna do, the bare minimum. But then if
Right.
you pull up beside me, I'm gonna ride my bike a little bit harder. So
Mhm.
basically, this program made these kids a little bit better socially and emotionally. But the kids that were at the Head Start, they were, even though they were doing well in school, their behavior was off. They
Yeah.
wasn't as mannerable as other kids. So Biden is saying, well, hey, well, let's kind of like do what they did back then. Let's put more money into these pre-K programs. And also, like you say, there's always something behind it. Okay. So they also, the psychologist also was doing experiments on these kids. Okay, let's watch their behavior. These kids over here, they're more likely to go to prison. They're more likely because of their behavior and their attitudes and the way that they're acting.
Right.
They're more likely to fail or not go to college. Well, you cannot uh judge that off of a pre-K child's behavior because Happy Bill, we know people that in high school they were whatever, but then now, hey, they doing it. They're very, so you can't do that, but that is how they build our prisons off of the kids' attitudes and the dropouts and all of that. So I found this topic very interesting. And I think that's a good thing that he's trying to do. But you also got to look at what's behind it. What are y'all really trying to do? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm interested in where they go with this, and I want to keep following this story to see if they fund this program and what happens after.
What is this lottery system? It's like I'm very curious because you hear, because that's what Biden spoke about was this whole lottery system. And when you think about even in low income communities, they have a lottery system. So I would love to kind of study what this whole what's the history and the logic with this whole lottery system. It is a method behind it. And I want to know what is that method with this whole lottery system. And it's something to that, it's something to that. Yeah.
There is, and I'm sure they're trying to make it seem like it was just random, but I'm sure they chose children from different communities, and just said, oh no, we just picked them at random. I'm sure they did. They had kids from different communities and put them all in this setting and see how they behave.
I even saw too where and one of the news, and I can't remember which one it was, but was saying how Biden is behind creating this. And I think that was at the beginning of the article, creating this universal preschool to where kids from a certain age up to 4 years old. Was it 2 to 4? Or maybe, I don't know if it's newborn.
Like 3K, 3 to 4, 2 to 4 years.
To where the government will pay for their preschooling. And I, you guys, please correct me, but I am not aware, even with research, I'm not aware of the government supporting higher income preschools like the Creme de la Creme, which is right up the street from me. I can just go down the line and name a few that are very over 1,000 per child when it comes to preschool. But they do go into the low income communities or the economically challenged communities and support them in certain way whenever they have government programs. And then I also was watching, as I continued to watch that particular news segment, they were gonna seek or see how they could put into place taxing households that make over 400K, over 400,000 a year to help fund. That's where they're going to get the money from. You know, fund those the preschool for those families. So they're going to skip over the 100, the 200, the 300. They're going to tax whomever made 400 and above. Now, from my personal opinion, and I'm very different. I'm not status quo. I believe in giving. I love to give. Philanthropy all day long because I believe that giving is a way out of whatever situation that can try to come up on you, that can become a stronghold or become bondage. You can give your way out of strongholds. You can give your way out of bondage. You can give your way out of anything that's that goes against who you are as an individual, that goes against your destiny, that goes against your greatness. So for me, having that particular type of income and being able to and having to pay higher tax, it would not bother me knowing the reason behind why I'm paying that. Now, everybody don't think that way.
Public kids probably won't like it.
Linda Gates says she don't mind. He said 10%.
Exactly.
Right.
And the other one too, the other rich one, Bezos, she loved to help out a lot of HBCUs. And hey, she is for what's her name? Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie.
Oh, yeah.
She's another one that's a great support of the Black community. So, and I would not have a problem with that. No, you're making 400 plus K a year, and you're crying because you may have to pay, higher tax, or you're being taxed higher in whatever area, whatever. But I just heard that they mentioned higher tax rates for them for the 400K.
Yeah.
That will help fund the free preschool, and it's going to a good cause. So I don't like politics, because when I think about that, I don't know, one of you guys said the Republicans wouldn't like it. I don't like them because I don't like not them. I don't like politics. Like I'm saying, I don't like the Republicans, but I don't like politics because you have some Democrats that think the same way as Republicans. But my personal opinion that I don't see why would that be an issue, for the to be taxed. Go ahead.
What, I would say, just listen, not every Republican, not every Democrat, but sometimes listening to them, some people may feel like they don't want they want a choice in where their tax dollars go, or they want a choice in terms of who they give to. Like Trump, like for instance, he felt like, like he was like, well, he spoke a lot about, he was saying, in other words, he was for, Blacks and so forth, but he got upset when having to give his money in the Black community. He was like, for what? They're not even doing nothing. So, that's how some, politicians may feel. They may feel like, well, I want to give to who I want to give to. I want to donate my money to who I want to donate it to. So that's very interesting. So I would love to hear how Republicans is going to support this one, this whole program that Biden is trying to come up with.
I could definitely see them saying, "Oh, for what? They're not doing nothing." But it's not for them. It's for the children. It's for the children. The children are the ones that's in preschool, and who can the mindset of people today. Remember we was talking about a little bit earlier, when we were talking about low down dirt shame, sister girl, and I talked about how just morals are out the window. Love is, to me, love seems to be out the window too, and it seems like people can just do whatever. There are no standards. And I was watching, I can't remember who I was watching, but someone, again, it was a news show. But someone was saying, standards are just out. It was a big time, and I cannot think of his name, but it was a big time motivational speaker who's rich. But they mentioned standards. What is standards? Like, people don't have standards anymore. Like, why is that still in the dictionary? Because they are making up words now, and throwing them in the dictionary, so there's not, and it does need to be something else coming, because there aren't any standards. And to even think that way, because you're helping children. Yes, you are giving to the parent, and you're paying a higher tax rate, and they're taking that money and they're investing it in the children for, they didn't say the quality of but if the president is behind it, of course it will have a type of quality, but again, I don't know what areas or what communities it would target, but we all know from past experience and just the history of government programs, they always go through economically challenged areas. And then for the 400 plus K to be supporting it, we already know where they're going. We already know where they're going. So, and they even mentioned like over 5 million kids would be helped in this endeavor. So I think that's excellent. That's that's excellent. So,
I was going to mention that is important that it is, early on, they catching it early on, and they identifying some of the challenges that these kids are facing, and especially in low income communities. But I was going to say, we as people, especially Blacks, We need to get more involved in our community, like in terms of going to the town hall meetings in the villages or the city where you are. We don't do that enough. And so we're not even
Yeah.
how our children are being affected or what laws are in place, because on the you know, like with the city, the mayor or the city, you know, the city mayor or the commissioner in the village and so forth. It's important that we are part of that way, because they are the ones who's going before, you know, that's going to the White House, is going to, you know, the Senate and so forth, and they're discussing what's going on in the community. So we're not a part. We don't even know how our children are being affected, what type of laws are being in place. So it's important that they hear our voice. So we definitely need to get out and be more a part of the community.
Yeah, definitely.
I
I
agree.
would agree on that. More and more and more. And
Yeah.
those that are out and is doing, you know, work should definitely hold, you know, seminars or conferences or some type of gathering for those particular community. Go out in our own communities and offer free education for those, because a lot of people don't understand politics. You know, they hear politics, they think of uh, confrontations, confusions, contradictions, all that, and then some. You know, that's what comes to a person, and they're like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. You know, and what I just said, I just don't, you know, because it's so much, you know, the scales aren't balanced. That's just true.
Yeah.
The scales aren't balanced. So enough of
Yeah.
the politician talking. Let's dip a little back low. Y'all ready to dip back low? I just want to get through this topic because we are, you know, coming close to our end time. But I want to entertain our HMV fans one more time before we end tonight, and we want to talk about this topic that can be definitely be controversial, but you know, it's life, right? So we want to talk about the shenanigans of the in-law. Now, I would love for someone to type in the chat. Do you have beautiful in-laws, or do you have in-laws that are from the pit? And we can finish that. But I would love to hear, you know, some of our fans' comments on, you know, the in-law shenanigan. But I am going to let Sirius K give us a little background of why we want to talk about the in-law shenanigan. So, HMO fans, it has nothing to do with her in-laws. But there are some
No.
good shady a couple of weeks ago. So let us hear Sirius K.
Well, um, Prince Charles, with his mature self, he cut Meghan Markle out of the family photo at the christening. He cut her out the photo. But then Queen A say he came back and he said what? He wanted it all. He wanted them to reconcile or whatever. And we don't know if that's true, because we know now that the paparazzi is on their side. So you know they work for the royals. So, but anyway, I think that was a low down dirty shame. He is too old for that. That's his great grandson's mother. Like, how low can you go? You got to think about when that boy get older, he go and he look back at that picture. Where's mommy? Where's mom? You know? And then guess what? Guess who he's gonna be mad at? Great grandpa, Gigi Paul. Gigi Paul, where said that you took my mom out of this picture. So, you know, I know some in-laws, you don't like your daughter-in-law, whatever, son-in-law, whatever, but you have to be careful. You have to keep the kids in mind when you're doing these little dirty side things. You got to think about their feelings and how they feel about things before you do. I mean, for the sake of the kids, keep the peace. Keep the baby mama in the picture. Don't look for the child, not for you. You know, you can't be selfish. So, yeah, Prince Charles, I mean, you too old for that, man. Why would you do that to your grandbaby, your great grandbaby?
Lord, that is really, really, really sad. And you know, she have been Megan, she has gone through so much. You're talking about love. That's a whole nother topic. The love that they have for one another. I mean, that is some love that is.
You know, love conquers. If you're in it together, if you're in it together, you can win. Like everybody can be against you, Like, if you're in it together and you love one another and you keep people out of your relationship, it can work because love conquers. But that's just straight petty. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, and that's grandpa. That ain't great grandpa. That's grandpa. Great grandpa gone. Oh Lord. Okay. See, that's even more dirty. Lord. Okay. Go. Oh my God.
G Paul.
GG Paul. Well, he wrong. He know that.
You know, regardless of who it was, they were wrong. You know, dead wrong for that. So
it's so sad that kids have to suffer in that though. Because it's like, as adults, we need to be adults, you know, and learn how. Because I mean, it's, you know, it just pissed me on. Like, I mean, I can be petty though sometimes too, though, but I cannot stand pettiness though. I really can't. But it's like, as adults, we need to learn how to get past that pettiness and just deal with stuff, especially if children are involved. If children are involved, you should not carry your children into that, but learn how to work it out. I know, Happy Bill, you can talk about this topic too. So, you know, because it's like we don't even realize how we damage the children by just keeping them apart, keeping them away, all because we can't, as adults, we act like the children, and it doesn't make no sense.
You know, that is so true because the children, they can get along with whoever. They can see mom fighting with cousin Auntie Betty, but they are gonna play and have fun and don't even care that mom and Auntie Betty are at odds. But here you have grown folks, grown people, and let me tell you something. I'm talking once again. I can go back to there's no more standards. It's that's a hard truth. You know how you have those hard conversations where you really don't want to have that conversation, but you know you gotta have that conversation. That's the in-law conversation. That's one of them, the in-law shenanigan conversation. That's definitely one. But where people just do not, I just haven't found it. It's like everything is okay. And when we're talking about the in-law shenanigan, where I'm talking my experience where this in-law is a missionary in church. We're talking in-law is a first lady and hate my guts. No, there have been no fist fight, nothing but discussing the truth about the situation of what is going on, discussing the truth. But because it was the truth, and because some people don't like to be revealed or exposed, you know, in a one-on-one conversation, in a one-on-one, let it be known in a one-on-one conversation, not even exposed to the audience or exposed, you know, to someone else, but in a one-on-one conversation, they will begin to hate you. And this is family. In-laws equals family. That's family. When I tell you first-hand hatred, and we're talking about, we're going to the church. I ain't even just talking about an ordinary Susie Q, Aunt Susie Q, or ordinary Grandma Jen. I'm talking about supposed to have high standards, higher standards, supposed to, you know, live by faith and not by sight. You know, and supposed to, you know, understand the meaning, the true meaning of morals and the true meaning of God's love, grace, and mercy for one another. Not at all. Not at all. I have truly firsthand experience. And I'm not even talking about the first time around or in just a girlfriend, boyfriend relationship. Well, that's not in-laws. But, you know, the first time around. But I'm speaking of where folks was just live just normal, didn't say they were Christians or sinners, but they just living their life. Peace. No peace. But I'm talking about folks that say they die are Christians. So it needs to stop. I bring it to the light. We bring it to the light on the Heart Mind Divorce Show because it's all about healing the heart and renewing the mind. Some of our minds out here it needs to be renewed. Some of our minds. But we're saying to at least things has to be brought to the forefront in order for it to be dealt with and healed. And what's that favorite quote? Queen A, if you don't feel it, you can't heal it or you can't change it.
Yeah, I was trying to ask you a question, but yeah, I had something the other day. If you can't, right, if you must, in order to feel it, in order to heal it, you must feel it. So you got to go through it in order to heal it. You gotta,
Yeah.
so it's like you gotta, there's another saying, you gotta grow as you go through it. As you're
Yeah.
going through it, you're not growing and you're not feeling it. That's why it's important to get in tune with your emotions. But Happy, I wanted to say, when you were telling that story, it's very interesting to know what your I don't, yeah, you still kind of going through the separation, but what your husband, what did he say to his family about you? Because it's like it was such a hate. So it's like what, because sometimes if your spouse is protecting you, they may don't like you, but they may have respect for you. So
Right.
so
That's
it's
not my case.
right. So it's very
That's
interesting
not
to
my
know what did he say. Like, it's very important. Like, okay, did he protect you? Did he, so those are
well,
questions to ask.
absolutely no, and you're right. That's another thing. You're right. If your spouse, it could be your ex-spouse, it could be your current spouse, should protect you at all, especially when children are involved. Especially when children are. That is your daughter or your son's mother forever and a day. You should respect that person. Make sure anybody that's around, you or them should respect them at all costs. And the one thing is, no, it was part of, the the hatredness. It was part of it and part of, building it up. And this is not, I'm not the first merry-go-round for him, but in the last two merry-go-rounds for him, the same story was created as far as the hatredness and, oh, they're crazy. And I'm sure I'm the crazy one and I'm the one that's out here, that's the villain and this and that. Well, see, he said that about the other two merry-go-rounds that I didn't believe. So I'm sure the fourth merry-go-round that comes around, I'm going to be different. I'm going to say, go ahead and take hold of that roller coaster. She'll know what I mean later. But she would definitely know what I mean later. But yeah. So no, I did not. I had to fend for myself. This is good information to know. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has gone through this or that is going through this. I was just listening to a blog the other day with Tammy Roman and her show. Sorry, her talk show, Tammy Roman, and she was interviewing one of the Braxton sisters, Braxton, the old one, the mature one, the oldest one, the mature one. Is she old? I don't know if she's the oldest.
I don't know.
She's very mature. She's very, kind of like she's like the backbone of everybody. Like she keeps everything together. Not Trina, not what did you say, Queen A?
Tony is the oldest.
Right. So she's next to those. The one that she's real tall, dark skin and tall.
Oh yeah, the one that she's divorced.
She's the voice of the family.
But I know who you're talking about.
I forgot her name.
I know, I forgot her name.
It's Tony, Trina, Tracy, Tamar. I can't forget her name.
Tawanda.
Yes.
Nikki, it's good to have fans, I tell you. Our minds. But yes, Tawanda. So Tammy was interviewed, and Tawanda is still, I think, in the midst of going through a very nasty divorce, such as myself, but a very nasty, nasty divorce. And how now she mentioned he doesn't even want to be a part of the kid's life, but just all the stuff that she has gone through and how she's speaking on it and how, our situation, the actual people and the way that it's going down, not so much as the way, but just the heartaches and stuff that she's dealing with. Mine is just different, but we're going through same heartache, same situation, nasty divorce. And it's like, wow, listening to her, it gives you comfort. And I'm sure someone listening to me, it gives you comfort because, like I say, I'm not the only one. And it's like, wow, well, how do you get past situations like this? As far as in-laws don't understand the burden that they put on the family, especially in going their separate ways. That's a burden because it's hard enough for the break to take place. It's hard enough for the couple to want to go their separate ways. And then to have, a team of cheerleaders in the background or, some people to throw rocks in the background. There are other people involved, such as the little ones, that is hurt, and that can be hurt in the midst. And they're not, just like with Tawanda, her children are going through that in the midst of all of that. And it's extremely hurtful. And to hear her talk about that, she talked about how she got her voice back, and how in the midst of that, how you can lose yourself and you can lose your voice because you feel like you're fighting against the world. People don't understand that. It's important for, if you have experience like that, to share that, because somebody else, like I, is going through that and need that encouragement and need to know there is light on the other side. Go ahead, Queen A, you wanted to say something.
I don't know the whole story with Tawanda Blackburn, but in her situation with the in-laws, does she still allow her children to go and visit the in-laws?
She did not mention, because because it's so toxic between them. She really didn't go into the in-laws as much, but I know that it's like that side of the family is closed off. And it's probably because of what they're going through. But we're dealing with adults here.
Right.
And even if you don't care about me, care about her, or care about whomever, the woman or the man that's getting that divorce, the kids matter. And it's important to even be a role model, especially if you say you stand for something, not to mention if you say, you're a leader in the community, especially if you say you stand for something. It's highly important for you, because children remember things. We all on this show, we remember. We remember we were little kids. We remember when things happened, when people went against us, against our parents. We remember the bad and the good. And we probably remember the bad more, unfortunately. But, it's important for someone to stand up and speak up, stand out and speak up, because if not so much for him or her, but for the children, you should care. And that child is speaking on in-laws, is your grandchild, is your niece or your nephew. And it just shows the love you have for them.
Yes.
Did y'all have anything else to say about that?
Just like, share, and subscribe, y'all.
Like, share, and subscribe. We have some serious conversations up the road. Did somebody want to sound like somebody was trying to say something? Okay, I thought someone was saying something. But we have some people that are tuning in and watching. Whoa, look, we got the people tuning in now. Like, wait, what? But we do want to give away a prize to someone. So I'm going to ask the same question that I asked last week. Hopefully no one remembers. If you were tuning in last week on this test, I'm going to need Queen A to zip it.
You get back and watch the show already, so you can't ask that same question.
Well, you got the ones that are watching? Let's ask the question. Let's see. Okay, so the question is, because no one wanted to give. So the question is, what did I say? 3 colors for a particular country. There are 3 for a united country. Okay, Queen A, you do know that you're not playing, right? You do know that, right? There are 3 colors that represent unity in a united nation. What are the 3 colors? Right. So type in the chat room. Nikki said, huh?
That's what look like that. Like, what's the question?
Okay, Nikki. There are, listen to the question.
We already okay, y'all. Look, pre-shadow.
There are 3. Oh, she got it.
She remembered. She watched the show from last week.
No, she don't remember. Okay, do you remember that answer from last week? Yes or no? Are you guessing? Okay, she laughed and she was true. Tell the truth. That answer from last week. Okay, you know See? Wait, you have messed up. You are getting okay. I got another. She talking about initial LOL. I knew she
late.
She As y'all can witness me right now, I'm writing down another favorite number. So I want you all to type in a number between 10 and 20. 10 and 20. Right? Type in the chat. We have a special gift just for you between the numbers 10 and 20. 10 and 20. Come on, Nikki. Where you at? She back. She like, I ain't playing now. Anybody else between 10 and 20? A good favorite number. So the number that I have, Nikki, like, look, I'm gonna play. Did you hear me? 13. So the number that I have is 11. So guess what, Nikki? You win anyway. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. We have so much fun and we have some really good conversations every single Saturday night. We love you guys. We wish you all the best. And Nikki, we have your information. We will definitely be reaching out to you. We love Nikki. We're gonna have Nikki on the show. She's gonna be a special co-host. Nikki, you're gonna be a special co-host. You are, she's an amazing supporter. An amazing supporter. So we're gonna have her on as a special co-host. So she's gonna be tuning in on some of these topics that we talk about on Saturday night. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, you guys. And we will see you. Did you guys have anything to add? Nope. All right.
We love you guys.
Go ahead, Queen A.
Y'all have to watch this show on Netflix, y'all. It is called Start Up.
I'm done. We will not give anyone credit that are not sponsoring us. Until they sponsor us, they will have the credit. But anyway, we love you guys. Have a good week. We shall see you all next Saturday.
Good night.